welcome to today's video. Today we are working on our review. So let's begin. We're going to start reviewing vocabulary. So first, I want you to complete these phrases. Some of them start with a noun followed by a verb, and some of them start with a verb followed by a noun. For example, a bomb. What do you think happens to one? That's right, it goes off, it explodes. What do you announce? That's correct, you announce a campaign, especially if it's a political one. Now pause the video and work on the rest, please. Great, we're going to check in class. Now, here we need to match the turn expressions to their meaning. For example, a turning point is a moment of change. If you turn a blind eye to something, what do? That's right, you ignore it. Okay, one more time, pause the video and match the rest. Remember, we will check this during our live lesson. Okay, great. Let's continue. Here, you will find that I have many phrasal verbs, and I have the meaning of those phrasal verbs. Let's match them. For example, if you are taken, that means that you are fooled, right? That you're lied to. What is calm down? Well, it means to be a matter of something. Please pause the video while you match the rest of the phrasal verbs to their meaning. Great, we will check this during our lesson. Now, we're going to go ahead and practice our conversation strategies. Here I have some phrases, but what are they doing? Pause the video while you match, then come back to check. Okay, we use the expression at the same time, just like at the same time. People should be able to pick whatever it is they want when we want to give different information with the same importance as information that was already said. I'm not comfortable with people telling white lies. We use this expression, I'm not comfortable with, when you want to express concern. If you look at it from their perspective, it's not something they can easily solve. In this case, it doesn't really matter if you agree or not, but you are considering different points of view. It seems quite unfair, to put it mildly. We use this expression to say something even though you could say it in a stronger way. Instead of saying, it seems really unfair, I'm saying quite. My sister, she loves chocolate cookies. If you remember, we can use pronouns to highlight a topic. That new movie, it's causing a lot of controversy. We use demonstrative pronouns, these, that, these, and those, when we want to introduce and highlight information. To me, people should. We use to me or to in the present when we want to express what your or somebody else's point of view is. To put it bluntly, it should never have happened. We use to put it bluntly when we are being very direct on what we want to say. Okay, great, let's continue. Now we're going to review our grammar. So, if you remember, we talked about continuous infinitive forms. And they express events that are ongoing, temporary, or incomplete. The structure is going to be not or to, be, and our verb with ing. If you have a modal verb, then you will use the modal verb. Again, not if you need it, be, verb with ing, or modal verb, not, have, been, verb with ing. Look at the examples. People appear to be recycling more. Governments should be working on improving the economy. Okay, now, verbs followed by the perfect continuous can be present or past. They can also be active or passive. For example, the hacker seems to have been working alone. In this case, we're talking about a verb that is in the present. The economy appeared to have been growing until 2008. As you can see, this verb is in the past. The government appears to have been negotiating secretly. Here, we are talking about an active sentence. And the last one. A terrorist group is believed to have been planning the attacks. Here we have a passive one. Okay, let's continue. Now, please pause the video using continuing forms. So the first, they might. Since I have a modal verb, what should I do? That's right, they might. He seems for IBM. Well, because I don't have a modal verb, I will use to. He seems to be working for IBM. Okay, remember we will check this during our class. So let's continue. Now, we saw the subjunctive. Remember that it is very uncommon and it is used under very specific circumstances. Now remember, the subjunctive is basically the base form of the verb. It should only be used in subordinate clauses after the word that, and it requires specific structures in the main clause in order to be used. Look at the examples. It is important that you be here on time. The requirement that a journalist check the facts is vital. It is more important that the story be instantly available. Okay, now we can use it after these verbs: demand, insist, propose, suggest, recommend, followed by that. She insisted that her brother not be present at the wedding. If you see, we have the verb insisted and we have the word that. And then yes, I use the subjunctive, not be. We can also use it after adjectives followed by that. It is important that the story be instantly available. Our adjective, of course, is important, and we have that. Okay, let's continue. Now, the subjunctive can be used with passive sentences, and here you will simply use be plus the past participle. It is important that the interviewers be treated with respect. As you can see here, we have an adjective, important, followed by that, and then the subjunctive. Now, here you need to choose the correct form of the verbs in order to complete the sentences. Now, you should be careful because you don't need the subjunctive in all of them. Let's do the first two. It is essential that she be at the meeting. We have an adjective, essential, followed by that. If I would call her tonight. In this case, we're going to use where because it is a conditional. Now, pause the video and work on the rest, please. We're going to check in class. Great, let's continue. We saw expressions with V2, and with these ones we can talk about the immediate future, especially if the events have a date or if they are decided. A TV documentary is to air later this week. As you can see, we have verb to be followed by to. We can use it in conditional sentences for hypothetical events in the future. If we are to survive a catastrophe, we'd better shape up. Now, you can also use it to talk about something that will happen very soon. Civilization is not about to collapse. Now, you could also use bound. There is bound to be debris falling on us. Now, the only difference here is that bound to expresses more certainty. Talk about the future, about how the future was seen in the past. As in, they said the world was to end in 2012, even though of course we know that this didn't happen. Okay, now, passive verb complements. Here we can use base forms after had better, would rather, and also modal verbs. She would rather be contacted by email. As you can see, the form of the verb to be is in base form. And of course, just as in all of the passives, we use the past participle of our verb. It should be finished next week. One more time, I'm using verb to be in its base form. Infinitives are used after appear, claim, deserve, expect, love, seem, want, and would like. She wants to be considered. As you can see, we have the infinitive form of verb be, to be. Internet sites seem to be increasing. Another option is to use an ing form, but they are used after the verbs avoid, be worth, enjoy, love, mind, recall, mind, and remember. It is worth being considered. As you can see, I'm using the ing form of verb to be. Dogs enjoy being walked by their owners. Okay, great. Please complete the sentences using your own ideas. Pause the video, please. Great, we're going to use this in class. Now, we can talk about objects plus an ing form after prepositions and verbs. And in this case, these nouns are going to be the object of the first verb, but also the subject of the second verb. Let's see. They can be used as in this structure, verb plus preposition plus object plus an ing form. We can use any of these verbs on the list to follow this structure. For example, I can count on my brothers working all night long. So in this case, my brothers are both the object but also the subject of the sentence. Adjective followed by preposition, an object, and an ing form. We are aware of people invading many areas. Noun, preposition, object, and ing form. As in, I have a video of my brothers jumping a fence. One option could also be verb plus object plus an ing form. I remember my mom driving at night. Okay, let's continue. Now, if you remember, we talked about reflexive pronouns, and we use them when the subject and the object of a sentence are the same person or thing. He could rightly describe himself as an expert in human relationships. Another use is to add emphasis to something. As he himself put it, he had been had. Now, we can also use the words each other and one another when the subject does something to an object and the object does the same thing to the subject, as in, they wrote to each other for months. So, here we're going to complete the sentences using reflexive pronouns or each other or one another. For example, Sandra and Angela lost in front of the stadium. In this case, I'm going to say they lost each other. Why? Because Sandra couldn't see Angela and Angela couldn't see Sandra. My friends enjoyed very much at the concert. They enjoyed themselves. Pause the video and work on the rest, please. Great, we're going to check this in class. Now, for practice, I want you to go to your student book page 136, exercise 1A. You will change the underlined verbs to continuous forms, and then complete the sentences with reflexive pronouns. Now, please notice that one blank needs each other or one another. Let's see. Economists say that society will be undergoing some critical changes in the near future, especially in the workplace. Women seem to be graduating in larger number than men, although they appear not to be taking as many graduate courses in science, business, and engineering. Women also appear to have been gaining momentum in the workplace itself. Very good. Now, pause the video and work on the rest, please. We're going to check in class. Great. Now, please work on exercise 2A, still on the student book page 136. We need to add a word to each bold expression, and then complete the sentences using the verbs given. Please notice that some need passive verbs. Let's see. Would you turn your back on a friend if she were to do something really bad? A friend of mine was recently arrested for stealing from her employer. She is to go to court next month. She's trying to play it down. Very good. Now pause the video, please. Work on the rest. Okay, we're going to check in class. Now, let's go to student book page 137, exercise 3A. Here, you will complete the story using the verbs given. Many have passive verb complements. Let's see. Maybe every young person wants to be known as a hero, but very few people get the opportunity. As he left for work one morning, pilot Chesley Sullenberger probably didn't expect to be called a national hero later that day. Now, pause the video and work on the rest, please. Okay, we're going to check in class. Now, for exercise 3B, you're going to retell the comment on the story. Use that and those to refer to ideas your partner knows, and these to introduce or highlight ideas. Add, to put it mildly, in 2 more places. I'm sure those passengers were pleased, to put it mildly, when the plane landed safely. What can we replace that with? That's right, that plane. Why? Because we know that our partner knows what we're talking about. The geese caused a few problems. How can we change the? That's right, those geese. Now pause the video and work on the rest, please. Excellent, let's continue. Student book page 137, exercise 4A. You will be replacing the underlined words in the reports with expressions from Unit 10, Lesson A. Then, complete the verb phrases to express the ideas given in brackets. For example, the failure of the President to greet a delegation of foreign heads of state this week has fueled a speculation about the state of her health. She underwent surgery earlier this year. However, it is thought that doctors are insisting on her having more surgery before they can agree to her carrying out her normal duties. Pause the video, work on the rest, please. Great, we're going to check this in class. Now, I need you to work on exercise 4B. Here, you will complete the sentences from an editorial column with an appropriate verb in the subject. For example, the requirement that every student an advanced English exam to graduate is a good one. That every student pass or take. Okay, excellent. Remember, we're going to check this in class, so you can pause the video to complete the rest. Great. We're going to check all of that in class. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.